Okay, I want to try to explain this probability a little bit because I think that sometimes this can be confusing. So basically, if you read in your text, he's going to give you some examples of, I think it was, oh gosh, he used 60 as his value, and his value that 60 represented the average, 60 days represented the average value of when the ice challenge, um, if somebody beyond 60 days would actually perform the ice challenge, okay, the ice bucket challenge, okay. So when you are calculating a probability, you have to calculate a z-score, and the reason you have to calculate a z-score is because the z-score converts all of the values into the same units of measurement. So now I can compare them, and I can relate, and it puts that value into a standard deviation unit, which if I know a standard deviation unit, then I can calculate probability. All right, so you get a larger portion, you get a smaller portion. So the smaller portion represents over here, if this value here represented 60 days, what is the likelihood that the ice challenge is going to happen after 60 days, which is the smaller portion. And the larger portion, or the orange portion, is what is the likelihood that the event happened before 60 days in this example, okay? So in order for us to do that, we have to calculate a z-score. So the z-score formula is pretty straightforward. This here is your raw score minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So if you have a sample set of data, you're going to have, okay, Lindsay scored a 35 and the mean was 60, and divided by whatever the standard deviation is, that's going to give me a z-score. And then based on that z-score, then I can calculate a probability. And that probability, he kind of walks you through a little bit if you will have a look on page 29. All right, so the z-score here, if you look on page 29, is represented by, on the left-hand column, you'll see the z. And he uses the example of, he calculates a z-score of 2.63. All right, so this line right here is his z-score of 2.63. What is the probability that people perform the ice bucket challenge after 60 days? Because you use 60 days as his criteria. And if you look in that on page 29, it says 0.00427. So the probability that somebody would do the ice bucket challenge after 60 days was 0.43%. So not very likely that somebody was going to do it, right? The probability was pretty low. Versus what is the probability that somebody did the ice bucket challenge before 60 days? All right, and so that's the larger portion. And you see that that value is 0.996573. So there's a 99% probability that people did the ice bucket challenge before 60 days. And so that's why the normal curve is very helpful, because you can calculate what is the probability of an event occurring beyond a specific value. All right, and we'll come back and look at statistics ultimately and our values and how this relates to the normal curve. So properties of a z-score, 1.96 cuts the top half. What is all of this talking about right here? All right, so if you do have your book, I want you to have a look on page 30. All right, and basically what he's saying, when we are testing our probabilities of 95% probability, you're calculating a range within which values are going to fall. Okay, so 1.96 sounds pretty close to 2 standard deviations, right? Because that's what that represents. Or 2.58 sounds very much like 3 standard deviations. And so generally, when we're looking at stats, we round up. All right, so there's a 95% probability that a score is going to fall between 2 standard deviations, or there's a 99% probability that a score is going to fall within 3 standard deviations. So this is going to come back here a little bit, but just know that you can use frequency distributions to calculate probability values, and then those probability values are going to tell you the likelihood that an event is going to occur.